But to get into the big topic of the week, something that angers everyone like no thing, even though we all hate it, we still give it so much power. The Grammys happened this past Sunday. And before we break down all the specific hip hop winners, categories, what we thought should have changed, what are your thoughts of the Grammys?
Listen, so like you said, it's hard. The Grammys, in my opinion, is something that is very important if you win it. As an artist,
Mm-hmm.
if you win it, it's an amazing moment. Look at what happened to Killer Mike. I think
The man.
the streams on his albums went increased by 700%. It was the
Crazy.
biggest night of his life career wise. So it can definitely be an impact to certain artists. Obviously, to some others, it doesn't matter that much. I think for Drake, it wouldn't matter much to
Mm-hmm.
him. So it depends a bit of the artist in that perspective. But I still think it's really important. But still, it shouldn't dictate what our opinions are. Like if we
Yeah.
think that's the best album, then it's the best album. Doesn't matter if it didn't win a Grammy. So and also just because an album didn't win a Grammy doesn't lose any value.
Yeah.
It's a good thing to have, but it's not the end all be all, basically.
Yeah. I think that's a perfect way to describe it. Awesome if you win, cool to talk about, but we all know that certain albums haven't made that stage yet. There definitely are some changes that have to happen to the awards. I think No ID does work with the Grammys for hip hop, but the hip hop not being shown on live TV angers me so much because, for one, hip hop's one of the most popular genres. I feel like people want to see who won that award. Like I told my parents that it was already announced, and they're like, "Really?" Like even they were surprised, and they don't like hip hop. I just
That's
think,
so annoying.
and Hove started talking about it in that speech. He's like how Will Smith boycotted, and he didn't really finish his point fully. But hip hop deserves to be on the main show. There's no reason why it shouldn't be
It's the
mentioned.
bigger genre. It's the bigger genre in the world.
Yeah,
Doesn't make any sense.
like they did do an award for Latin artists, which is awesome for Latin artists. But I'm like, really? They didn't talk about hip hop, but they talked about Latin artists. Which no disrespect, they're great artists. Carol G, shout out to her and her win. But I was like, damn, no hip hop. That's crazy.
Carol G is big. She's
She is
doing
big.
big moves.
So to get
She's
into
a
the
superstar.
specific, to go to the specific awards, we'll break down who was nominated, who won, and our thoughts on maybe if some artists or songs should have made it instead. First, we have best rap performance, which I don't even know what that means based on the artist and songs they chose. The winner was Killer Mike, Scientists and Engineers, featuring Future and Andre 3000. And the other nominees were Coi Leray, Players, big TikTok song, Drake and 21, Rich Flex, great song, Black Thought, Love Letter, and I have a hot take about this song. I'm not a fan of it. Baby Keem and Kendrick, the Hillbillies. That song was made as a joke, was just them having fun. For it to have been nominated for a Grammy, to me, makes no sense. But also, this
Facts.
award,
Facts.
thank you, you support me? It was
Facts.
fine. I didn't like it that much.
To me, that song being nominated for Best Rap Performance just really shows the bias they have towards certain artists.
It
Like, they
does.
love these Kendricks, they love these lyrical, like, machines, and of course they're amazing. But the Hillbillies is a cover to a Drake song.
Yeah,
And to be honest, it's not even better than the Drake song. But that's
it's
debatable,
not.
but still, it's not the best rap performance, shouldn't be top 5, shouldn't be anywhere
Should
near
not.
that conversation.
They made it as like a joke. Like you can tell they kind of just freestyled it. So, and you touched on how certain artists are awarded more at the Grammys. And it's interesting that no hip hop album is ever nominated for Album of the Year, which a lot
Hmm.
of the albums that are usually nominated for Album of the Year are pop albums that aren't actually written by the artist who performed those albums. And hip hop is such a personal
Adam,
genre.
I love that you brought that up. If you know what happened in the Grammys, the only two times a hip hop album ever won Album of the Year was twice
Yeah,
with
Thorn.
Outkast's um, Speaker Box, The Love Below,
Yeah,
and Miss Lauryn Hill, The
yes.
Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. And if you analyze those albums, they're not even like fully rap albums. Like they're
Yeah.
very experimental. They have a lot of singing. So to me, that just shows that they don't value pure hip hop, pure rap lyricism in the matter that it's enough to win a Grammy for album of the year and
It makes
to compete with genres like pop, like those mainstream genres.
yeah, it makes no sense, and I'm not sure who beat "To Pimp a Butterfly" for album of the year. I know Kendrick was nominated for
It was
that.
Taylor Swift, 1989.
Wow, like respect. I don't listen to Taylor Swift. I'm sure there's hit songs on the album, but he dropped the best hip, debatably. But for me, I think it's the best hip hop album ever. But political wise, like the importance of that album, like Taylor just didn't write the songs on that album, or all the songs, and we have a man who wrote everything and was behind the production. It's very disappointing. But also, Kendrick's the only one they seem to nominate nowadays for album of the year. Cole can't get that nomination. Drake's not getting the nomination. Kanye's not getting the nomination. It's it's rough out
No,
here.
I don't know how Utopia wasn't considered for the best album of the year category. Oh my god! So last night I went on Spaces on Twitter
Uh
and
huh.
talked about people that are inside the industry and Joey as well.
Yeah.
And there was a big discussion as to the Grammy categories and where should Travis Scott be placed in which category, and
Yes.
that
Yeah.
sparked a big discussion, a big conversation. So what do you think about that? Which category should Travis Scott be placed in?
So are you referring to like how there's a melodic rap performance and how there's straight rap performance? Or are you saying is Travis
Like
not even
what
hip hop at all?
people's argument was the Grammys will always be biased towards more lyrical rap
Yes.
albums, and Travis will never win a Grammy if he keeps being placed in the rap album category. They saying he
Yeah.
should be placed in maybe pop, in maybe I
Okay.
don't know, make you know.
Okay, that's interesting. Because I was thinking like R&B, that wouldn't make sense, but pop, it is kind of pop. That's interesting. I think it's very hard because, for one, you seem to have liked Utopia a lot. It was very disappointing to me.
Really,
At this point, I only listen to I Know. I didn't like it that much. But let's say, and it sucks. People say Astroworld was robbed. It like Swimming or Daytona should have won. I didn't think. I love Astroworld. I think it's a classic album. That was a hard year. That was probably the best hip hop nominations we've ever had because that was Cardi has like the highest selling album ever. Whatever about that. Swimming, right up there. It's one of the best albums ever. Daytona, one of the best albums ever. Astroworld, and you have Victory Lap, Nipsey Hussle. So you had two artists who had passed away with their final albums. You had Pusha T bringing back that boom bap hard. That was a hard year. I don't think he was robbed. Do you think he was
they
robbed?
gave it to the worst album, in my
They
opinion.
did, but I don't think he would have won if they gave it to the second
No, yeah,
place person.
to me, robbed is is too much of a word to associate that Grammy
Yeah,
win, that Grammy loss. I mean, in 2018 and this year as well. I don't think he was robbed. I don't think he was robbed.
yeah,
I love Utopia. It's an amazing album, but I understand why they picked Killer Mike. I get
yeah.
it. And to
I
be
think
honest, this year they had one of the best nominations for rap album of the year. I love all the five albums. I didn't like I was happy with any of the albums winning. So just to say that.
yeah. To address your original question of should Travis be in a different category, I feel like this would be a weird comparison. But you were saying how like it's kind of like pop music. It's kind of like if there was a really great comedy movie that came out, and you're like it honestly deserves to be nominated for an Oscar for best movie. But the fact that it's a comedy album, it's like a little less serious. I think that's kind of what you're getting at with like Travis Scott because it's more pop and more melodic. It's not looked at with the critical nature that To Pimp a Butterfly is looked at, Igor, Call Me If You Get Lost, all these past hip hop winners. But it's funny because Cardi B did win, she won because it was the highest selling album, which Utopia was. So there's a lot of contradictions with it.
That's the thing. That's my issue with the Grammys. They are so inconsistent. Like if they gave it to one of the most popular albums, I get it every year. But listen, this year they gave it to the less popular
Popular
album,
album.
to the less popular artist. But then last year they didn't even nominate The Forever Story by JID. They didn't even
Crazy.
nominate Melt My Eyes by Denzel Curry, but
Crazy.
nominated DJ Khaled and Jack Harlow.
Jack Harlow, yeah.
Where's the consistency? I don't
Yeah.
get it.
So that's the issue. And I guess we can have this discussion now. People think there should be subgenres. Like, should there be a trap album of the year or trap performance versus lyrical performance. But I think the issue with that, I think it's a great concept, is that artists bend genres now. So Travis Scott has songs on that album that are more boom bappy. He has West Side Gun on a song. So is that a trap album or is that a pop out? Like, I think it's too hard to actually put these albums in categories because they
It's so hard to
blend.
define. It's so hard to define for sure. But I think it's the label and the artist that actually define where they want to submit the
Yeah.
album, like in which category. So if they thought it was best placed in rap, who are we to say
Yeah.
differently? But
But I know Tyler complained that Igor was placed in hip hop. He's like, that was not a hip hop album. He's like, that was more of a pop album. So that's
hmm
another interesting debate.
yeah,
I don't know what the solution to the Grammys is, but another category is melodic rap performance. The people nominated for that were the winner was Lil Durk and Cole. Shout out to my goat, Cole. All My Life winning. SZA Low, Drake and 21, Spin About You, Doja Cat, Attention, Burna Boy and 21, Sitting on Top of the World. I'm not even sure is Burna Boy considered a rap artist. SZA is not a rap artist, so I don't know why these were nominated for melodic rap. Also, don't really know what that category means. Like, I guess I don't.
dude. And Doja Cat, I mean, Paint the Town Red was
That
actually
better.
look.
That
Paint
would,
the Town Red, I think, was nominated for best pop song. Or
was it
it was in the pop category, but then how is attention in the rap
melodic
category?
rap? It doesn't make sense.
Melodic
And
rap.
honestly, "Spin About You" is kind of more of an R&B song than it is a rap song. So let's just that category just has some work to do. They gotta they gotta
It's
fix that
such a
one.
mess. It's such a mess.
But here's the category I'm most angry about because album of the year. At the end of the day, it wasn't a great mainstream year for hip hop, so they kind of chose wrong. But best rap song. Winner was Killer Mike, Scientist Engineers. Very Grammy type winning song. I could see it. I get it. The other nominations, Drake and 21, Rich Flex. Very much like that song. But now we get to the tricky area. Uzi, Just Wanna Rock. That is not a rap song. That is a dance song.
Hmm.
Like, I just want to rock, rock. Like, he's not spitting on that. Is that, I don't know why it's labeled as best rap song. Then we have Ice Spice, Nicki, Barbie World, which from a popularity standpoint, sure, but is it like a best rap song? And then lastly, we got Doja Cat Attention again. So I would love to hear a description of what best rap song means to them because
No, yeah, for sure.
you have the beautiful lyrical, you got all the syllables in there, scientists and engineers, and then you have four pop songs basically.
Yeah, I
It's just
think obviously I'm not the best person to talk about that, but the Grammys, they were segregated. So if your skin is darker, they're more likely to put you in the rap and R&B categories rather than pop categories. It's been like that since the beginning. So it's hard
it's
to,
just
to tell.
best rap song. Like I just don't know how they make these choices because, like you said, it's just so inconsistent, and they chose the beautiful poetic song. So choose all there's a lot of beautiful music that was dropped last year that could have been nominated. And it's like you threw and I love Ice Spice. She's a very fun artist. But like that was the best rap song of the year. And the Hillbillies, like why are we throwing these
No
fun
way.
songs
No way.
to a critical award? Like I said before, it's like if a very joking movie, it's like if Barbie won the Oscar for movie of the year.
Yeah.
It's a great movie. I loved Barbie, but is it like should we be giving it this critical acclaim? It just feels weird.
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not.
So then Jay-Z made a big speech that got everyone very excited. He talked about how Beyonce has the most Grammys ever, but has never won Grammy or Album of the Year. Then he also talked about hip hop not being shown in the show. But like, what are your thoughts about hip hop not making it onto prime time?
Just to say on that Beyonce subject, like he said everything we just did. They don't
Yeah.
have the consistency. So even by their standards, the most winning Grammy, the most Grammy winning artist
Hmm.
hasn't never won an album of the year. So doesn't make any sense. Inconsistency. And in regards to hip hop not being in the television, I don't know. To be honest, they don't respect hip hop enough. It's been shown, it's been proven. But to be honest, I don't care in the sense that I just see the results on Twitter. I'm not
Yeah.
even watching. I haven't seen any footage. I've only seen Killer Mike receiving the Grammy, going on stage, and being arrested as well. But other
Yes.
than that, yeah.
I
Other
still have
than
no
that,
clue what
I've seen no
happened.
footage.
I still haven't figured out what happened to Killer Mike, but we will give him his flowers. A guy who's been working his ass off since, I'm sure before the 90s, but started up in the 90s, made it on Stankonia on the Outcast album. He
Yeah.
actually has a previous Grammy. And Run the Jewels, one of the bigger hip hop duos of the last decade, making album after album. So it's an awesome thing to see because hip hop is slowly turning into rock and roll in the way that rock and roll loves its older artists and they can tour for the rest of their lives in these big arenas. And people used to say hip hop's not going to be able to age like that. But now we're seeing people like Jay-Z, Nas winning a Grammy, which is incorrect. He should have won earlier in his career, but winning 30 years into his career and Killer Mike now winning this deep into his career, I think it's so cool for this genre that it's not just a young man's game anymore.
That's why politics are so involved in the Grammys because how
Yeah,
did Illmatic, it was never written, Stillmatic never win a Grammy, but
never.
then 30 years later, you have King's Disease winning a Grammy. You know, they're
There's
just making up for it because the
They
quality
are
of the. Listen, King's Disease, good album, but it's
not
not Grammy worthy
wasn't Grammy winning. I
to
like
me.
the so I love Nas. The only album that I've really like consistently listened to of the last 5 years was Magic One. I thought that was an amazing album.
I love that album. Magic One is the
It's
best
crazy.
album in his Hit Boy run.
Yes,
Yeah.
I so we agree on that because these other albums they're good, but there's a lot of they all kind of sound the same. There's a lot of filler, but something about the energy in Magic One. If there was any of those five that were gonna win a Grammy, I would have chose that one.
I don't
But
think they submitted Magic albums
uh,
to the Grammys, to be honest.
yeah, so that's part
But
of it. I know Drake stopped. Drake stopped for a little submitting his music, but now he's resubmitting it back. I don't know.
I think they were just submitted because 21 Savage wanted that.
Okay, yeah, that
Honestly,
probably makes sense. And who knows if
let's
Cole?
see if For All the Dogs gets any nominations for next year.
There's no way. If there is, I'm done. That's a bad
There's no
album.
way.
It's
You know, you wait. You couldn't see First Person Shooter being nominated for Rap Song of the
oh
Year.
yes, I can see. All right, I thought you meant as the whole album. I can see first person shooter
That makes a
being
lot of sense,
nominated.
right?
That makes sense. I cannot see the album being nominated. I think
When I
it's
say the
just
album is just
the song.
like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
songs or yeah, best rap
I
album probably. I mean, that shouldn't even be considered like a rap album for All the Dogs. I
yeah.
mean,
I mean,
it's
it's a
hard.
playlist.
It's hard.
It's he just makes playlists now. But we're gonna
Let
get
me ask you one thing before we move
okay.
on from this Grammy debate. How would you rank the five albums that were nominated for Rap Album of the Year?
Okay, let me look at this list. Uh for my own personal liking, because
Some
these are
hot
not that
takes coming.
because I wouldn't actually have chose these albums to have been the top
No,
five.
but listen. If you
This is my
were a Grammy critic, if you
Grammy.
were
Okay,
if you
that's two
were
different
there,
things.
if you were there making the decisions and voting, how would you rank these five albums?
If I was voting from like this is what should win a Grammy, I think they chose correct with Killer Mike. That was the most Grammy type. I would go in order: Killer Mike, Utopia, King's Disease, Metro, Her Loss. But if you ask me what my favorite album of those five was, it was actually Her Loss.
Mm,
I liked like
your loss.
music. Music's always for certain albums or for certain different things during your day. Her Loss I play when I'm at the gym or I'm going out with friends and we're like drinking. It's great for what it came to
No,
do.
yeah, for sure. A lot of replay value on that
A
album.
lot of replay value. Killer Mike, I listened to it. I really liked it, but it's a very intense project, so it's not something I'm revisiting as much. But like,
Hmm.
they're two completely different types of albums, which is why it's weird to nominate them in the same category because it's like one's to pregame with and one's to go cry with.
Yeah, like if they have a best melodic rap song, why don't they have a best melodic album, rap album? Maybe that
So
would make sense.
that I think is better than putting Travis in pop. But yeah, I like that better. Putting in melodic rap performance or melodic rap album.